sun is out, it's windy, got coconut water. What better time to, you know, speak to a camera, yap a little bit. I've been thinking, man, as a man, I'm assuming you're a man if you're watching this, unless I've hit the wrong demographic, then I've failed as a YouTuber. But you're a man, brother. You have balls. You have two big testicles in between your legs. Why do you settle for an average life? And you've heard it 1,000 times, right? You've heard the, wake up, 9 to 5, go home, da-da-da. Your wife shouts at you, you're a little bitch. Your kids don't listen to you, they don't respect you. You go to sleep, wake up, and it's the same existence every single day. You've heard of it, right? You know it. That's like, it's been echoed in time for ages. Everyone knows about it, but no one actually does anything about it. Like, what's wrong with most guys nowadays? Do you have testicles in between your legs, or do you just accept the fact that you're gonna be chained forever? I mean, it goes both ways. Most guys actually escape these chains and they end up getting chained to another thing, which is actually a very good example. Entrepreneurship. I've been in the sales space, I've been in the high ticket, remote closing, management, coaching, people that coach coaches how to become coaches. I've done all that, right? I've been in those demographics of business. It's not a nice space. It's very transactional. Everyone uses everyone. They talk shit behind each other's backs. It's not a very positive space to be in. If you want to make quick cash, sure, it's gonna work. It might work, it might not. But I don't get it, man. Just because you have a very mundane and boring existence doesn't mean you can't leverage it to make something greater. Let's say you have a 9 to 5, and I was speaking with my boy Yusuf about this. If you have a 9 to 5, leverage it, bro. Stop seeing this whole box, this whole cage as evil. It's not evil. It's not even a crutch. It's an advantage. Everything that you see as advantage can be an advantage to you somehow, one way or another. Everything you see as a negative is gonna negatively impact you. If you feel like your 9 to 5 or your shit job or whatever you do is negative, you are not going to use that as a stepping stone to progress into something greater. You just won't. You won't. As soon as I started shifting my mentality, and keep in mind, I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in over 15 months now. So yeah, that's a whole other topic which we'll get into, but definitely use your 9 to 5 as a stepping stone. Don't just villainize it, don't demonize it, because it's not the best move on the chessboard, let's put it that way. But now let's get into the opposite side of it. Let's say you have managed to escape the 9 to 5. You don't work a normal job. You make a couple K online or remotely somehow, right? You don't need to clock in, you don't need to clock out. Which has been my experience for the past year and a bit. I'll tell you one thing, if you're aiming for that, I'll tell you, life does not get much different. It's the same. In fact, you go a bit crazy. You're like, what the hell do I do with all of this free time? You have so much free time. What do you do with it? I'll tell you what you do. These big nuts in between your legs, you use them. You go and do something great. You go retard max. That's what I've told, me and my boy do is we retard max, right? We stop thinking, because the more you think, the more rigid you become. And you just start calculating, you start analyzing. I'm sure you've heard of the term paralysis by analysis, right? You don't want to get into that. That's what happens when you don't retard max. You start being a little bitch. But what if this happens? But what if that happens? Yeah, but. You're leading from an emotional standpoint, and it's good to be emotional at times. Actually, when is it actually ever good to be emotional? I'm trying to think. is there genuinely a time where it's good to feel emotional? Because I mean, when I'm drinking this coconut water, I feel very emotional. This is amazing. But um, nah, genuinely, I don't think emotions ever serve men. I feel like men are like what emotions ricochet from, and how we react to other people's emotions determines our value. That's what I think. If you're a very weak man, you're gonna be very affected by your woman's emotions. If it doesn't ricochet off you properly, her emotions are gonna pierce you and you're gonna be emotional. You're gonna be struck by the emotional bullet, which is the way I see it. So the more you can stand your ground, be a rock, right? Be stoic, be a rock, ricochet bullets, make them rebound off you. The more you can do that, the more grounded, the more logical, the more like good, the more good choices you're gonna make is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, back to the Bulls, right? I'm sure you've watched Scarface. If you haven't, amazing film. Watch Scarface. Same with Fight Club, two of the best films. What does Tony Montana say when he's at the big boss's mansion? He says, "All I have in this world is my balls and my word. I don't break them for anyone. For anyone." When I heard that, I was like, yeah, yeah, man. All you need in this world, you don't need an online business. Fucking bees, bro. You don't need an online business. You don't need the gym. You don't need to work out. You don't need good foods. You don't need a beautiful girlfriend. You just need your balls. You don't need money. You don't need anything. If you have balls, you will achieve every single thing. And if you have balls, you will start to realize how you handle yourself a lot differently. You don't give a fuck anymore. You have what we call an ego death. Once you go through this ego death, you basically become reborn, essentially. I was speaking with my business partner about this, Callum. He's been through an ego death, and now nothing phases him. He's like not insecure about anything. He's still confident. He doesn't give a fuck what anyone else thinks, and that's like it's how a man should move, right? If you're walking outside and you're like, "Is my hair right? Is my beard alright? Okay, is that alright? Is that good?" Obviously, you have to be presentable. I'm not saying look like an absolute bum. I'm just saying walk like your balls are heavy, bro. Like, you know when someone walks very fast, like, you just look nervous. It's like you're rushing. If you have really, really, really heavy balls, you would be having that slow, like, you would be able to feel like the weight of your steps, you know? That's how you should walk. That's how you should think and act and portray yourself. Hold that frame. You know, balls, brother. There is life in those sacks. There is life. That's how you can create life. It's how you were created. You know, this, a conscious being. Because of balls, I am able to sit here and gaze at the sun, soak in some vitamin D, sipping on the nicest Caribbean coconut water that has potassium, is naturally low in sugar, naturally refreshing, and delicious for the whole family, according to this. Guys, balls, that's where it's at. It's your choice. Leverage the 9 to 5, fuck the 9 to 5, leave the 9 to 5, and save up money, start something, go crazy, go all in, do something on the weekends while you're working a 9 to 5, whatever. Just don't coast in the middle. There's a reason. There's a reason I've noticed. You need to have faith in God, and most atheists are in the middle. I don't know if you've seen that video that recently came out, Jordan Peterson versus 20 atheists. It's like, you just look at those people that are just sitting around in the chairs. You're in the middle, brother. No shit, you're an atheist. Like, some of them, yeah, they've studied, you know, religion, they've studied Christianity, Judaism, Islam, whatever, right? They've studied it, they know all about it, they still choose to be an atheist. Why? Because you don't just become a believer just like that. You need to go through some shit. The people at the top and the people at the bottom, they are believers. They're not atheists. If you hit rock bottom, and trust me, I've hit rock bottom, I know people that have hit rock bottom, you are going to naturally turn to Christ. If you hit, yeah, at the same time, you can't get to the top without believing in Christ. You can't get there without some form of assistance. Most atheists are in the middle. The same reason why most average, mediocre people, the people with the least problems and the people who have the least fun, they're mostly in the middle. So it's an entirely different thing from like socio-economic classes. I'm not meaning like how rich someone is. It's more of a case of how much fun do you have? How much do you actually use your balls? How firm of a believer are you in Christ? How often do you socialize? How often do you... I don't want to say improve yourself, because improving yourself is very... It's another form of a matrix now. It's like self-improvement, wake up, culture. Like, I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, like, how often do you escape the ordinary? It's like Fight Club, right? You watch Fight Club. Tyler Durden is the representation of what the narrator wanted to be, because he's not conformed. He's actual fucking bees, bro. He's not conformed to a societal standard. There's nothing that holds him or chains him down. Anything. Not a job, not a place, a mortgage, credit cards, loans, schools, jobs, whatever the fuck you can name. Nothing chains him down. There is like this weird limbo that people are in where they have everything they want. They have a house, they have a good car, they have a family, they have health, but they're chained. They can't use their balls. They're only there because someone else's balls directed them there. It's like a big choreography. Like, if you go out into this world, I don't know if you've heard of the dead internet theory. It's where it's like 90 or 80% of the internet just like bots and shit commenting and making posts, and there's actually no one that's actually real on the internet. Don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like this, but in real life. Everyone's choreographing everyone. No one has like conscious thoughts. No one is actually thinking. They're just NPCs, and they're just being choreographed by someone else's balls to end up somehow with a house and kids and a wife and a good car and a nice stable job. They didn't actively want to do that. They didn't chase their purpose. If you ask any man, what is your purpose? They're not gonna say, yeah, I want to be a banker. I want to be a head of operations at XYZ company. That's not gonna be their purpose, brother. Do you know what's gonna be their purpose? Something greater, something that only their balls can actually attain them by using their testes. That's where your testosterone is, bro. That's where the life force, your vitality, that's everything. There's a reason why when you ejaculate, you spill out so many nutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, which you need to replenish after that. It's because it's so powerful. Like, if you let another man's, it sounds weird, but if you let another man's balls choreograph your life, another business owner, another CEO, another whatever influencer, it could be anyone. If you let them choreograph your life, and if you sit down and think, am I actually here because of me and my balls? Or am I here because of someone else choreographing my life, me having to stick to a system, me having to follow a set of rules that helped me end up here? And it's okay, that's fine, you can live life like that. But genuinely think to yourself, are you okay with that? Like, deep down in your soul, are you okay with that? And what can you do to change that? How can you live life on your own terms? So, yeah, that's pretty much the message for this video. I just wanted to get that out there. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm gonna get more into the matrix of entrepreneurship and things like that. Basically touching on more topics that I've discussed in this video. So, yeah, man, see you in the next one, boys. Take care.